especially if her husband was Mork. Seeing that Mindy wasn't looking, Mork slipped a toffee from his pocket and quickly popped it into his mouth. "Well, who's in charge of the sheep?" Tori asked. "That'll be Trevor. He'll be having his lunch right now. I'm sure if you wait an hour or two, he'll move them along," Mork said, still huffing and puffing. "An hour or two?" Tori echoed incredulously. Her carefully laid plans were starting to crumble. This kind of thing never happened in London, an entire road closed for an hour or two. Everything moved fast there, and if it didn't, drivers felt free to lean on their horns until something was done about the traffic. Though, in this instance, she suspected leaning on the horn wouldn't achieve a fat lot. "What should I do for an hour or two?" "I'd suggest you go and get yourself lunch too. The cherry on top does a mean bacon sandwich, best in the village, especially with lashings of brown sauce," Mork said dreamily. "And how would you know that?" Mindy said, suddenly turning around, and he quickly swallowed his toffee before he had finished chewing it. He coughed and cleared his throat. "Just what I've heard, dear," he called after his wife. "Mindy and I are vegan," he explained to Tori, "and I'm on a diet, so no lovely, horrible bacon sandwiches for me, but I'm sure you will love them. Just down the hill, on the left, blue parasols. It sits right on Sunshine Beach. You can't miss it." He trundled off despondently after his wife, and Tori smiled at the matching writing emblazoned on his top. Mark. Mark and Mindy. Close enough. Poor Mark. He looked like he'd kill for a bacon sandwich. She looked back down the hill. The cherry on top was Emily's cafe. Emily had told her to pop in there to collect the keys to Blossom Cottage around 3 o'clock. Tori had planned to have a drive around the tiny seaside village first and get a feel for the place, and meet up with Melody and Ida if they were free. But she guessed she could change her plans. She looked back at the sheep. It didn't look like she'd have much choice. She grabbed her bag and locked the car door as she got out, though it was quite obvious that even if some opportunist car thief came along, they wouldn't be able to go anywhere either. She started her walk down the hill, and the sheepdog eyed her with something that looked like a smirk at her predicament. She fished her phone out of her bag and texted Melody and Ida to say she had arrived in Sandcastle Bay a bit earlier than expected, explained her predicament with the sheep, and said she'd be in the cherry on top if they were free. The emerald tree canopy above her provided shade from the sun for a while, but as she rounded the corner and the trees cleared, she saw the tiny village of Sandcastle Bay for the first time. Most of the houses that tumbled down the hill were a gorgeous pale yellow with slate roofs that almost glistened blue in the sunshine. Some were round or had round towers, making them look like little sandcastles perched up on the hillside. There was a row of shops, all facing out onto Sunshine Beach, and a large village green with multicoloured bunting fluttering gently in the sea breeze. At the foot of the hill there appeared to be a cafe, which was probably the cherry on top, based on Mark's description, and the navy and turquoise parasols outside the front. It looked picturesque. She was leaning back against the garden fence to take a photograph of the idyllic view when she heard the strangest sound behind her. It sounded like a high-pitched, squeaky child's toy. She looked over the pale blue picket fence into the garden and saw a flash of black and red. Then the largest turkey that she'd ever seen burst out from the garden gate, wings flapping, wattle wobbling under its beak as it launched itself at Tori. She quickly stepped back and slipped in something slimy, landing on her knees in what was probably sheep poo. There was no time to dwell on that, though, as the turkey was still propelling itself towards her. She scrambled to her feet and started running down the hill, her flip-flops flapping against her feet. To her surprise, the turkey chased her all the way down, still gobbling loudly. What would happen if the turkey caught her? Had anyone been savaged to death by a wild and angry turkey before? She guessed she would find out, as, impossibly, the bloody bird was gaining on her with every step she took. Chapter 2. Tori made for the cherry on top, hoping they might